Hey guys, today I'm going to show you a few apps that I downloaded that I found that I really like and I think will help you study for your BOC. So the first one here is Hematology Mnemonics. And once you go under the various tabs, there's a lot of good mnemonics to help you
train your brain with 35 games,
ads, because it's a
perfect
free
your
app.
skills in reading.
So anemia, for example, you can remember the types. So you have anemia. So A, anemia of chronic disease, N, no folate or B12, E, ethanol, so alcoholic-induced anemia, M, marrow failure and hemoglobinopathies, I, iron deficient, A, acute and chronic blood loss. And then specific mnemonics for your microcytic, anemia causes, your anemia, normochromic, macrocytic, so on and so forth. So I thought that that was a useful one. Then CLS review. I really liked this one. It has little quizzes for you. This one does have in-app purchases, just to let you guys know. I ended up buying it just so I could test it out for you guys. I don't think it was that much, but if you download the free one, then I believe you get like coag and heme for free, for example. So the one that you pay for, you get all of these options, and it's even something we can do. I can Zoom with you guys on my phone, share my screen, and then we could do a quiz together, for example. Another one I really like and I find very useful, bacteria identification. Continue. And your gram positives, for example. So let's say you have an aerobic gram positive cocci. So it shows you that you will start with the catalase test and go from there. If it's catalase negative, then you have a strep. And then from there, you would look at the hemolysis on your agar to determine what it is. So beta hemolysis. And it kind of takes you down through the process of identifying it. These two, so this green medical laboratory flashcard, and then this one, this MLS ASCP exam prep. I really like both of these because they tell you, hey, it's time to study. So for those of you who are wondering, like, am I studying enough? Am I getting enough practice? And this one will tell you when to study. A little reminder, say, hey, it's time to study. And these ones are little flashcards. So to kind of help you quiz yourself. For the red one, the MLS ASCP exam prep, it lets you have, your little mock exam, your pop mock, previous records, tips in exam format. Other ones are your microbiology plate reading. So this one's interesting. It's not honestly everything what I thought of, but it's kind of like a hangman style. So like, let's say if you don't know what this stain is, guess the type of stain. You can use a hint as you move on. Let's just have it solve the question for us. So that's a capsule stain. And then you continue. And again, free app. So exit out of that. So lots of ads, but the disease, Mycobacterium tuberculosis is the causative agent of, and you would solve it. So I thought that this is a fun little app. Then you have this one, medical technology quiz. I like this one because you can quiz another opponent if you want, and kind of, a little friendly competition. Your practical microbiology. This one I probably would more recommend for students going into the MLTK micro courses rather than you guys being out there in the clinicals, but it still helps. It has your different types of culture media, for example, kind of help you with that, with your differential medium, your types of hemolysis on your agar, so on and so forth. So, I mean, that one's a good one to know. And for those of you who are in micro and you're filling out those sheets on the Google Docs, this is a good resource for you. Microbiology app again. So this one, you know, you could pay for in apps, but just kind of helps you study it. In this one, like I said, I probably recommend more for those in like the actual micro class, not necessarily in the clinical rotation. Another ASCP exam. So this one is blood bank specific. So maybe if you feel like you need more practice in blood bank. I thought this one was cool. So it's like a nice little testing cheat sheet. So maybe if you have a hard time remember cardiac test, there you go. This is going to help you with those. Hormones. I thought that was really cool for this one specifically. This one also in-app purchases, but it's pretty cool. All your RBC testing, so on and so forth. Just a quick little medical micro. You know, like I said with the other one, this is probably one that I would recommend more to like a micro student, not necessarily for you guys in your clinical courses. This one is the high yield mnemonics that I was telling you about. Maybe if you're studying for the MCAT, for example.
Did you know that 30% of people learn better by listening rather than reading? Listen to key ideas from top nonfiction.
This one's still good though. Even with under pathology, it shows like your lymphoid and your anemias, so on and so forth. Some more flashcards. You know, and if you're not comfortable, no, and you get to go back through it a few times. Micro cards. This one is cool, so it just kind of goes through. You can quiz yourself. Well, it quizzes you on different types of micro stuff. And you could go under the microscopy and staining, identification of bacteria. Antimicrobial agents is a really good one. Antimicrobial drug resistance is also another good one, so on and so forth. Cell Atlas. This one is awesome. I really like this one. So it has your cell atlas, so hematopoiesis, which we've talked about, erythropoiesis. So it goes through with you all of those immature cells. So your pro-erythroblast, your basophilic erythroblast, polychromatic erythroblast, shows you different images of each one. Orthochromatic erythroblasts, you know, going into the more nucleated red cells that you're most likely to see. Polychromatic erythrocyte, that's your polychromasia that you'll see. And lastly, your erythrocytes. Same thing, you know, your myelo, your monos. I really would recommend this one if you're feeling not so confident in hematology. You also have your other ones, so reactive lymph. I know some people had troubles with identifying. So here's some examples of those reactive lymphs. Sometimes they can be confused with monos, but it's really important to take a clear look at the cytoplasm. Kind of the color and type. In mono, you'll see more vacuolization in the cytoplasm. Here's a good example of some toxic granulation. It's kind of looks real icky, coarse. This one you see some vacuolization in there as well. And I like how it also explains the abnormalities you'll see with it. Here's some good pictures of some Dolly bodies. So yeah, this one you have your cell quiz, and it's pretty fun. So you kind of, race against the clock to see how many you can answer, in the time being. You see there's a little timer at the bottom there. See if you answer incorrectly, it'll give you red. And see, large length, segmented neutrophil, so on and so forth. You see you're kind of racing against that clock. So that's fun. And then it'll show you like what you miss, additional videos on hematology workflow. This is a really good resource. Going back, hematology quiz app, so kind of like the other one where it's like hangman style, what is this cell? So you just type it in. Another one, medical laboratory exam prep. Same thing with this one. So these ones, like I said again, they tell you when to study. This one also has micro-mnemonics, which are great. Like I have kind of drilled in your guys' mind since the beginning of the semester. I'm a huge mnemonics person. So, like this one, gram-positive cell wall has thick peptide-glycan layer, so on and so forth. McConkey agar contains plant. What does plant stand for? Just a lot of cool mnemonics, so I would recommend that one. Another study app. And lab values. So this one is probably more for like a physician or a nurse to kind of understand. Let's go under COAG. So let's do APTT. So your PTT. So it kind of tells you, what to look for. So I think this one is good for you guys too. Good resources for you. If you are interested in anything else, there's other ones. There's some lab hacks. Has some pretty funny stuff on here too. But there's a dilution calculator for those of you if dilutions aren't your strong point. Mass molarity calculator. Would recommend to kind of memorize how to do that, because if you have any lab math type questions on your BOC, obviously you're not going to have access to that. You're going to have to do that math yourself. But I think this is good to help you become familiar with miscellaneous things as well. So that kind of concludes this little brief overview of this screenshot of the apps that I use. Just let me know if you have any questions. And I have an Android phone, so I'm not positive if iPhones support all of these specific apps, but hopefully they do.